Hi all! We have just come out of the Givenchy menswear presentation, so we're going to do a quick little review on the way to the next show. So set in the couture house, which is really amazing. They don't open the doors often, so very special. Baby's breath, beautiful floral arrangements all over the floor, and presentation of Givenchy men's. This is the first time Givenchy men's has been separated for a while now. Claire Waight Keller had been merging them, and now they're separated again. So this is quite an exciting, kind of going against the grain, I would say. Everyone's trying to merge men's and women's, and this is a complete opposite of that. Saying that, however, Claire really tries to make sure that all the fashion during women's and men's has a certain level of androgyny to it. So for the previous women's wear collection, androgyny was absolutely key, and the idea was that you couldn't, things could be mixed and matched, and menswear was amongst women, and it was these super sharp tailoring on women. So this is a kind of answer to that, separating in a really interesting way. So the menswear here was ever so slightly effeminate, and I mean that in the shapes of the trousers. It was calling upon 70s and 90s in reference, and so 70s tends to be slightly more effeminate males anyway, but the shape of the trousers was absolutely sublime, beautiful, ever so slightly flared. We had leather jackets in kind of powdery blues, then the slightly more streetwear-y elements, hoodies, but atop those beautiful 70s trousers, in this beautiful material. I can't actually remember what it was, but it was so stunning to feel. And that's also such a lovely thing about this presentation format, is that we get to touch, we get to feel, we get to see these items really up close, and you can inspect the quality, and the quality was, I'm going to do this, amazing. There were kind of organza shirts underneath leathers, beautiful oil slick Macintosh that was black, and as the light kind of hit it, iridescent oil slick colours came through, but very subtle, totally wearable for day. And it picks up on what Claire's been looking at through women's wear, which is this slightly Berlin nightclub element. I don't mean that in like unts. It's that 70s Berlin smoky haze, smoking up against the wall kind of elegance almost that comes with going into a nightclub. And you saw that in the oil slick Macintosh, the big patent duffel bags, and these sheeny sheeny tops underneath jackets and hoodies that had a neck that did this with a belt across. So that's the kind of more streetwear, rave geary type stylings. And then there's incredible formal wear through the next room with beautiful shirts, a kind of almost groomsman look in all white with a feathery shirt, and that was entirely sequined as well. There's also a glittery sequin with different colours again in the back, but all of it's in keeping with the women's wear, so very much that similar aesthetic, very much slight nightclub, slight formality. It's that really nice duality that makes this so beautiful. But yeah, the quality was exceptional. Cal, what did you think?
I think it's interesting that she's gone back and forth and playing with how she presents menswear, as most designers are now. I think Claire's had a real hard job in terms of the menswear and carving out a new market, because the market that Riccardo Tisci had, I mean, at least in my eyes, so people would disagree with me, Riccardo really was a forefront for the sportswear movement that we saw, you know, the graphic printed t-shirts that he really started in not started, but, you know, he really was a component of that graphic t-shirt being kind of the, actually, men don't want to wear a suit, they want to wear this cool t-shirt that's really branded or has this seasonal graphic.
All about the logo.
Yeah, all about the logo. So the market that was carved out for Givenchy then, she's going against that, and I think you need to find the balance, and I think she's getting there. I thought this was a really lovely, you know, again looking at 70s and 90s, you had anoraks, but they were cropped and they were softer, they weren't as you say, ravey in a way, but then you also had really strong tailoring. I'm sure she's bringing across knowledge from the couture studio that, you know, she wouldn't have had access to at Chloe.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's learning all of that. She's new in the house, she's got new eyes, and she's finding out how these couture techniques works, and she doesn't block them out when she's not doing couture. I'm sure that's influencing her work. She's finding out new things and testing out the menswear client at the same time, I don't think it's 100% there, but I definitely think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And people are giving her the chance with obviously the wedding dress that she did,
Absolutely.
and the BF and the British Fashion Award. She's there to stay for a while. She's got her time. She's carved out her area. So now she has time to play, and it's really exciting to see that happen, especially in an intimate format where you can ask questions and touch fabrics and see details up close.
And I like that this is slightly unique in its presentation and its appearance. It doesn't feel like other menswear. It's very much Claire's Givenchy menswear, and that's really smart because you're coming to Givenchy for this very aesthetic, which this type of trouser we don't really see elsewhere. That shape is quite, now I think you can class as typically Givenchy menswear, which is quite interesting and really positive. I think, as you say, she's carving herself out, and now you will recognise this style, this technique, this beautiful material as Givenchy menswear. I don't know if you'd recognise the slightly more streetwear-y styles as Givenchy menswear, but I understand in this climate they have to be there.
And I think she's done a really great take on them, and she hasn't just whacked Givenchy on a hoodie, which she could have done, and realistically not many people have batted an eyelid, because that's what lots of menswear houses do, who also have a women's wear line.
Yeah, there was a smart answer to that actually. There was a really luxurious shirt, which actually we were saying, if you'd have seen on the runway you might not have noticed this detail, so it was a blessing that we were in presentation format, but there was Givenchy G's all over it, but it was scattered and layered so much that it kind of looked like a tile print. So really smart, keeping that logo element but being like, I see your logo and I raise you with a very smart, lovely shirt. So very, very impressive. Still a way to go in carving oneself out, but a really smart move, and impressive to see such an aesthetic already in the menswear. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching.